Talking Trees with Lily and Jad. Welcome to today's episode of Talking Trees. In this episode, we'll dive into the production of Christmas trees, exploring both natural tree plantations, especially in North America and Europe, and the manufacturing of artificial trees in countries like China and Poland. The episode will touch on the historical development of consumer preferences across regions and examine economic models and studies analyzing the Christmas tree market. Additionally, we'll explore the methods used for managing large Christmas trees installed in European cities. Stay tuned for this fascinating look at the global Christmas tree industry.
Hey there, fellow arborists. Are you ready for a deep dive that, well, kind of bridges the holiday spirit with some serious professional insights?
Let's deck the halls with knowledge.
I love it. Today, we're going to be taking a look at Christmas tree production.
Yeah.
And not just the festive side.
Right.
We're going behind the scenes to uncover the cultivation techniques and challenges and even the environmental considerations
For sure.
that every arborist, especially those working in urban settings, can learn from.
It's a fascinating world and surprisingly relevant to the work we do year-round.
Exactly. We'll also be examining a pretty dramatic incident that happened in Prague involving a toppled Christmas tree.
Wow.
To see what lessons we can glean from managing trees in those high-stakes urban environments.
Okay.
First up, let's unpack the world of Christmas tree cultivation. I was surprised to learn that it's not just a matter of planting a bunch of pines and waiting for them to grow.
Right. The species selection is far more diverse and strategic than most people realize.
Yeah.
It's all about matching the right tree to the right environment.
Okay.
Just like we do in urban forestry, for instance. While you might picture a classic Norway spruce when you think of a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
Down in Florida, they're using sand pine and spruce pine.
Really?
Over in Alabama, Arizona cypress and Leyland cypress are popular choices.
Wow.
And speaking of Norway spruce, those popular European Christmas trees are actually grown for seed harvesting right here in Georgia.
It's like a global Christmas tree network.
Yeah. And I'm guessing matching the species to the climate is crucial for successful cultivation.
Absolutely. Take Douglas fir, for example.
Okay.
They love the cool, moist climate of the Pacific Northwest. But trying to grow them down south where it's hotter and drier would be a recipe for disaster. Oh, yeah.
Same goes for Fraser fir. They thrive in the Appalachian Mountains but would struggle in a coastal environment.
Interesting.
Understanding these nuances is crucial for any arborist, whether we're talking Christmas trees or the trees lining our city streets.
So choosing the right tree is just the first step. From what I've read, cultivating these festive evergreens is a multi-year process that requires constant attention.
It's a labor of love, that's for sure, and it all starts with land preparation.
Right.
We're talking clearing debris, controlling weeds, often using herbicides, which is a whole other conversation, and making sure the soil has the right nutrients, and that's just the beginning.
Then comes the ongoing battle against pests and diseases.
Yeah.
Those tiny threats that can have a huge impact. The delegates, aphids, pine shoot beetles. The list goes on. And let's not forget the fungal threats lurking in the soil like root rot and even sudden oak death.
You're hitting all the key points. And just like in urban forestry, certain species are more vulnerable to specific threats. Douglas fir, for instance, is highly susceptible to rhabdocline wiri, a fungal pathogen that causes needle cast.
Oh.
It can severely impact their appearance and marketability.
Right. It makes you appreciate the work that goes into that picture-perfect Christmas tree.
Right.
And the care doesn't stop there.
Right.
They also need to be pruned and shaped to achieve that iconic conical form.
It's an art form.
Wow.
But even with meticulous pruning, there can be challenges.
Okay.
Scots pine, for instance, has a tendency to yellow during the dormant season. Not exactly the vibrant green hue consumers are looking for in their holiday centerpiece.
Yeah.
Some growers even resort to using green dye or paint to maintain that Christmassy look.
Wow. Talk about going the extra mile for aesthetics. But that raises some interesting questions about the environmental impact of some of these practices.
Sure.
Especially considering the scale of Christmas tree production.
It's a valid concern. The use of herbicides and pesticides, while sometimes necessary, has potential downsides.
Yeah.
For example, glyphosate, a common herbicide, is used extensively in Christmas tree farms in North Carolina.
Oh.
And its potential environmental and health impacts are still being debated.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that even something as seemingly simple as growing Christmas trees is tied to bigger environmental questions.
For sure.
And speaking of scale, I read about a Christmas tree farm in Oregon that's so large and remote, they actually use helicopters to transport the harvested trees.
It's a fascinating example of the logistical challenges and ingenuity involved in this industry, but it also highlights the potential impact of large-scale agriculture on the environment, something we grapple with in urban forestry as well.
While Christmas tree farms can contribute to deforestation and habitat loss if not managed carefully, they also offer some environmental benefits.
Okay.
They act as carbon sinks, help prevent soil erosion, and provide habitat for wildlife.
So there's a balance to strike, just like in any form of land management.
Precisely. And this leads us nicely to our next topic, the importance of meticulous tree management in urban settings,
right,
especially after that incident in Prague.
I'm talking about the incident that happened in Prague back in December of 2003. Picture this, a bustling Christmas market in Prague's Old Town Square.
Okay.
The heart of the city. A magnificent Christmas tree estimated to be somewhere between 23 and 31 meters tall stands as the centerpiece of the festivities.
A festive scene that turned tragic in an instant.
Right. A sudden windstorm swept through the square, and the massive tree, unable to withstand the force, snapped near its base and came crashing down right into the crowded market. The aftermath was devastating. 4 people were injured, and one British tourist, Malcolm Tuffin, tragically suffered severe spinal injuries that led to a long legal battle.
The incident sent shockwaves through the arboriculture community, prompting a serious reevaluation of tree risk assessment practices.
So looking at this from a professional standpoint, what were the key factors that contributed to this catastrophic failure? What could have been done differently?
Several factors played a role, and they offer valuable lessons for all of us in the field. Firstly, the investigation revealed that the tree itself had some underlying structural weaknesses. This could have been due to disease decay or even improper pruning techniques in the past.
So regular and thorough inspections are non-negotiable. But how can we be sure we're not missing those hidden vulnerabilities?
That's where technology can play a crucial role. We've got tools like acoustic tomography at our disposal, which uses sound waves to create a detailed 3D image of the inside of a tree. Acoustic tomography can detect hidden cavities, decay cracks, and other structural defects that might not be visible from the outside.
But even with the best inspection techniques, wouldn't environmental factors like that sudden windstorm still pose a risk?
Of course, and that brings us to the second crucial factor in the Prague incident, wind load analysis.
Okay.
This involves assessing the potential forces exerted on a tree by wind, taking into account the tree's species, height, crown structure, and the local wind conditions.
So in this case, they should have considered the potential for strong winds, especially in a large open square like that.
Precisely. Wind load analysis helps us determine if a tree can withstand the typical wind speeds for a particular location, as well as the potential for more extreme gusts.
It sounds like a complex calculation.
It can be, but there's software available that can help us model wind loads and assess the risk of failure. And even beyond the calculations, sometimes common sense prevails. If you've got a towering tree in an exposed location, it's probably a good idea to implement some additional support measures like proper anchoring or cabling.
It's all about anticipating potential problems before they become disasters.
Exactly, and that's where the Prague incident serves as such a powerful lesson. It highlights the need for a proactive, multifaceted approach to urban tree management. We can't afford to be complacent. Regular inspections, advanced technologies like acoustic tomography, and a thorough understanding of wind load dynamics are all essential tools in our arsenal.
It's about balancing the beauty and benefits of trees in our cities with the responsibility to ensure public safety. And on that note, thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll catch you next time, ready to explore another fascinating corner of the world of trees.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the global Christmas tree industry, from the cultivation of natural trees to the production of artificial ones, and the economic aspects shaping the market. If you found this episode interesting and would like to support our work, check out our exclusive content on herohero.co/talkingtrees. Your support helps us bring more insightful episodes like this one to you. See you next time.